Welcome to my channel. Hi, I'm Diana Clark. I'm an interior decorator in San Diego. Today I'm going to go off what is my usual beaten path and show you an entire project from start to finish. Usually in these YouTube videos, I just share one or two cheap, easy, quick decorating tips. But today we're going to go on a journey together where I will show you the project, the way it looked when I inherited it, which was what we would call a hot mess. And then I'm going to show you the decorating process, how I came to my inspiration. I'll show you a few photos while the project was under construction, and then we'll have what we call the grand reveal. At least that's what they call it on Home Garden TV, right? Okay, before we get started, I do have one thing to ask of you. If you enjoy this kind of decorating content, I wish you'd give this video a little thumbs up. You'll see that icon right below. Please click it right now. Now, let's jump in. This is how the room looked when I started out. It was honestly pretty scary. It was very dark and kind of depressing, and it was made even darker by the fact that there were wood shutters covering the window. The tub and shower enclosure was completely covered by a plaid curtain, and for reasons I'll probably never understand, there was an alarming ruffle at the top of it. What was hidden behind the awful curtain was even worse than the awful curtain. To complete the look, the room had white tile countertops that were original to the home, and they seemed to bear absolutely no relationship to the wallpaper or the cabinetry or the floors. The next step after assessing the situation was to sit down with my client and talk about his goals and his desires. Well, his number one goal was to keep this project as low cost as humanly possible, and he had a list of things that he wanted to keep and reuse. These included the tile floors, which were actually very nice, the wood cabinetry, the original bathtub, the two original sinks, the faucets, which as you can see were in very bad shape, and the existing toilet. Now that I understood my client's mission and had a clear picture of all the things he wanted to keep, my next step was to come up with a decorating scheme, and for this I needed some design inspiration. Well, this was pretty easy because the bathroom is in this gorgeous 1960s mid-century home, and many of the original mid-century elements throughout the house have been retained. So I was very excited by the prospect that I could restore this bathroom to that era and give it that wonderful mid-century mod feel. The obvious jumping off point was to keep the marvelous white tile countertops and tub enclosure. That tile is quintessential mid-century mod, and I absolutely loved it. My client had wanted to rip it all out and replace it with sleek granite, but I managed to talk him into keeping it, and we were ready to begin work on the project. The first step was to remove the dark wood shutters. We put these out in the back alley for someone else to take and enjoy, and they disappeared within moments. I always like to reuse things whenever it's possible. We also took down the dated light fixtures and had to do a small amount of electrical work because the wiring was old, of course. And then we stripped all the wallpaper off of the walls, I might say under the watchful eye of our project manager, Tigger the cat. And we said a fond farewell to the plaid curtain and the glass shower door. Well, it's a fact of life that no project goes exactly as planned. When we were having the wallpaper stripped off, we discovered mold on the walls behind the toilet, and then we discovered this alarming hole, which was completely uncovered except by wallpaper. So this necessitated removing the toilet, and the idea was we would put it back when everything was repaired. However, when we were getting ready to have it put back, it cracked in two and we ended up having to buy a brand new toilet. So there went the budget. Now it was time to begin selecting the various elements that would pull the design together. I started this process by shopping for wallpaper, and I had in my mind that I wanted something that was very mid-century and that had a lot of white in it to go with the white tile, and I was hoping to find something that had circles in the design because the tile has circles. Well, as it turns out, I found something even better than what I was imagining. This wallpaper, which really bridges the gap between the white color in the tile and the pattern in the tile floors. Since the wallpaper didn't have circles in its design, I chose many other items that were circular. I found round ceiling lights and pendants to hang over the sinks and mirrors and even round white cabinet knobs. As I continued to shop for accessories for the room, I thought about the fact that we really needed a vibrant pop of color, and I chose orange. Orange is the quintessential mid-century color, and in this case it also blended perfectly with the color in the tile floor. At last it was time to start pulling the whole room together. This is the really fun part, unless you're the wallpaper hanger. The first step was to hang the wallpaper, and because this was an old house, nothing was flat or even or aligned, so he had a terrible time getting all of the geometric pattern to be perfectly straight. But he did it, and he only said a few bad words. The next step was for me to go in and scrub those awful faucets. I scrubbed and I scrubbed and I scrubbed. I used Lime Away and a metal brush, and I did the very best I could since my client wanted to save these faucets. I think they came out okay. And the next thing was to replace all of the brass knobs on the cabinetry with the new white porcelain knobs. And then we installed the ceiling lights, which looked absolutely fabulous. And then we installed the pendant lights and the round mirrors over the sinks. As far as I'm concerned, no room is complete without some fantastic art, and I particularly like art that is personal to the client. That's why I fell in love with this piece. My client is crazy about crows, and I loved the piece because the crow has a little piece of orange string in his beak. What a wonderful little dollop of color that was. I also fell in love with this beautiful glass sculpture. The reason I liked this so much, not just because of the color, but also because the pattern in the glass echoes the pattern in the wallpaper. In my eyes, it just doesn't get more perfect than that. Well, all that's left to do is enjoy some scenes from the finished room. Well, what did you think? I bet I can guess what some of you are thinking. You're asking, wait a minute, how does anybody take a shower or a bath in that room if there's no shower curtain and no shower door? Well, it is strictly used as a powder room. That's it. There are other guest bathrooms in the house. I hope you enjoyed this today. I hope it inspires you to keep something that you already have and kick it up a few million notches. I would love to help you do that. And I just want to say one last thing, and some of you already know what it is. Stay safe, stay healthy, because I love you.